Sorry, I screwed that intro up. Clearly, I am botching for Botchamania. Anyway, I'm joined as always by Ian and Ollie. Say hello, boys.
Hey there.
Hello.
And we are going to discuss movies that are so bad that they're good. Now, Ollie, why don't you start us off?
Well, so bad that it's good only has one movie come immediately to mind, and I think you know what it is.
Go on.
I mean, I've only ever watched it once, but The Room was a laugh. And,
It was, yes.
yeah, and, well, just everything about that. And the thing about so bad they're good movies, and this is doubly true of The Room, is that they tend to be sincere attempts at a good one.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Because,
yeah,
like-
I can see that.
You know, Tommy Wiseau financed The Room himself, spending over $6 million. Not clear how much money he spent or how he got it. Nobody quite knows. But he kept the film. He paid to keep the film open for long enough to qualify for the Academy Awards.
That is some faith you have in your own thing. I mean, again, I know we have a whole thing again. I know we have some personal gripes in some cases against the nostalgia critics in general, but I watched his review of the Room again just while I was going through all this again. You're tearing me apart. Sorry, I was saying that I was rewatching the nostalgia critics review of the Room.
Right.
You know, just because of because that's how I first found out about the Room.
Same for me.
Yeah. And I just remember that I know it's meme worthy right now, and you know the delivery of everything. It's just. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I don't know what's going on, but
There's not much.
I appreciate it, dude. But my point still stands. But I think I'm saying my point still stands that the movie is just, it's just ridiculous. Meme worthy, I think. Okay, I appear to have gone completely silent. So hold on, let me check the thing. Okay, apparently you can hear me now. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was saying it's, meme worthy, it pretty much is.
Yeah.
You can say what you like about any other so bad it's good film. None of them have an Oscar-worthy film about the making of, well, Oscar-nominated, I think, The Disaster Artist, which is actually quite a good film. I've seen it.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and the fact you can quote things. I remember saying this about the Mad Max stuff, is that, when it's completely quotable.
Yeah. I mean, I only found out about The Room because you and Ian started talking about Tommy Wiseau on a stream I was doing. And oddly enough, I'd never heard the name Tommy Wiseau before that day. The day after on YouTube, not something I recommended, but Tommy Wiseau in Star. So I'm sure you can listen to our conversation.
Is it odd that I believe that?
Yeah.
I have a few movies that I would defend, but I'm going to let someone else answer.
Okay. Ian, what about you?
Well, I've got 13 of them on my list.
Oh, wow. Let's go then.
But since I'll this around, I'll do the same.
Okay.
Okay. Well, the 13th one, we've already covered the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll just skip to number 12, which is Home Alone 2.
Okay.
Oh, Home Alone 2.
Yeah, Home Alone 2, again, I'm going to quote the Nostalgia Critic and say Tim Curry being in it is what made that movie.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
If the movie ever gets a 1 star with him in it, he's the reason it even got that 1 star.
yeah. Sam.
Have a lovely day.
You went smooching with my brother.
Was it?
Yeah, again, that's a Nostalgia Critic thing, because of his face, like, did I?
Yeah, so, yeah, so why I chose this is because, well, let's face it, it's not as good as the first film in terms of, like, Kevin's storyline.
Oh god, no.
No, that man's magical.
Oh, yeah.
He's like a wizard or something.
Well, you see, the thing is, what I was going to mention in my when it came to my turn was that my movie came around at the time when camp movies were kind of, you know, becoming a thing, like the camp comedy.
Yeah.
And Tim Curry made a career off of camp comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is his thing. So, yeah. The way he delivered lines, everything he ever did, is why that movie worked.
Yeah.
I'd almost finished my comic collection.
So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say about Home Alone 2.
Okay.
Unless you want me to mention that other cameo.
Sure.
Are you sure you want me to mention that other cameo in that movie?
Go ahead.
Oh, alright, yeah. I just remembered what it was.
Oh.
Yeah, don't want. Let's not turn this into a political thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, so my pick, and I don't know how anyone's going to feel about this one, but I'm sure you'll both agree, Street Fighter the movie.
Oh, yes.
Now, the reason, do you know why Raul Julia did that movie? And how he actually died?
Because his, is it because his kids like the
Basically, the story
games?
that it was told was that Raul Julia had bowel cancer. And he did not tell anyone at the time that it was terminal. So the movie was rushed out anyway, and he said that he was given the opportunity to be in the movie, and his kids found out. And they were ridiculously excited about there being one, and he literally did it as a final gift to his kids. Now, when he first came on, they did the fight scenes first, which are silly within their rights, but he did all his own stunts, even though he was literally just recovering from chemotherapy.
Like, he had a chemotherapy appointment before he did his show.
And he was literally in great amounts of pain before he turned up, but he did it anyway. And then of course they did all the scenes which you remember, but what I think makes it good is not only the fact that it was rushed out, so the fact they got made at all was a miracle, but despite everything that went on, a man who was basically in a fuckload of pain played the campest version of Bison you can think of, and is the only reason it's... I mean, hell, look at his speech on Guile being dying. I love that speech. This is great news, General. On the contrary, I mourn. Okay. I wanted to face you in the field of battle. Fight as warriors. Then I would snap his spine.
Give him an honorable...
Give him an honourable death. And of course, who could forget the Tuesday line, which I recited this morning to my mother-in-law and she pissed herself laughing.
I say that line on at least a monthly basis.
Same. I love it.
The
I'm
day
not
that
forgetting as
Bison
well.
breaks to a village is the most important day of your life. But to me, it was Tuesday.
Let's not forget the other thing that came from that movie that me and Ollie enjoyed. the Bison Dollar. A man so egocentric and so camp as a villain that he literally has money with his face on. I know some people like the Satan falling like thunder line more than any other line, but I just personally love his whole paying Sagat in, you know, the Bison Dollar. And then when they literally look at him the way anyone would look the way if you gave them Monopoly money, ask what the hell this actually is, and say, that there is one Bison Dollar. It's worth 5 British pounds. For that is the exchange rate that the Bank of England will set once I kidnap their queen. Just that. That alone.
I don't care what anyone says. Raul Julia is by far the best M. Bison ever.
Of course!
Especially when you see all the what M. Bison is meant to be. I mean, I don't think even the people, you know how people are when it comes to authenticity. And they can say, well, it's not like they are in this. The thing is, they can't make it. I don't think that matters to anyone when it comes to these things. It's so good that not even Street Fighter purists could ever say, you know, this needs to change. This isn't how the character would be. No one cares because, quite frankly, it's just hilarious.
Yeah. Raul Julia is to M. Bison what Mark Hamill is to the Joker.
Quite so.
Yeah. So whenever I read a Street Fighter comic or something, I always read it in Raul Julia's voice.
Of course. Never. Apparently we're not allowed to let her have fun anymore. Because I was opening my mail, which, again, Ollie, you sent up, which is fair enough. But, you know, we're the devil for, you know, letting her play in that kind of environment where I was keeping an eye, where Liz was keeping an eye on her. And I was busy opening the boxes. So since Ian's the only other person with a number 2 at this point, let's let Ian have his number 2.
Well, the next one after. Well, the next one after Home Alone 2 on my list is the Wicker Man remake director's cut.
Is that the one with Nicolas Cage and the whole "not the bees" thing?
Yes, that's
exactly
the one.
I've not actually seen the film, I'm just aware of it.
Yeah. Now, I love the original Wicker Man, it's a great film, but you got to admit this one is like a parody in some way rather than a remake.
Nicolas Cage was going through a very weird time at that point. I think we can agree that he was going through some really fucking weird thing where he was just screaming in all of his movies.
He also likes being in movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at his Ghost Rider stuff. I honestly think he had a mental breakdown, and no one wanted to help him because they thought it was hilarious.
Or they just thought he was acting.
I'm Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Go on.
So yeah, it's not just the not the bees thing, which of course is funny, but it's everything else he does in the film.
Like, he definitely Nick Cage's everything.
Yeah, like having visions of people getting run over by a truck.
What's going on? What is this? Today is a
and the how to get burned, how to get burned, how to get burned. And punching a woman in the face.
While dressed as a bear.
Yeah.
To execute
That's just the way the
unarmed
teddy bears have their picture.
And of course, that movie spawned a funny, like, fake trailer I watched called Winnie the Pooh, the live-action movie. It's
Of course, now there is one, but
yeah, but this was like before, came out before that.
Ah, to hell with it.
It's like Nicolas Cage plays a cop called Winifred Poole, who has a sudden craving for honey. So he goes to an island called the 100 Acre Wood and gets chased by a bunch of bees, and the only way to evade them is to dress up like a bear. And it goes into all the scenes where he's dressed as the bear, and it plays the Winnie the Pooh theme. Including the bit where he punches the woman.
Oh, good lord.
So yeah, so the Cage being Nicolas Cage.
It's perfect.
Everything else about the film is shit, but Nicolas Cage saved that film.
I guess
So-
for my second one, my own. This is going to be a little cheap, unless Ollie has one.
I do actually, and it's one that may surprise you, Sam, because we saw this together, and I rewatched it recently, and it's just hilarious. It's over the top of this.
Okay.
It's the Machine Girl.
Oh God, Machine Girl! Oh fucking hell, I remember that.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
I haven't heard of it.
Oh God, it's Japanese. It's one of those movies that's completely in Japanese with the English subs. It's kind of like if you remember how Battle Royale was presented.
Alright, yeah.
Go on, Ollie, explain.
Where's this dispatched?
Right, well, it's from the guy that directed Battle Royale, which is an actual good film.
It is, yeah.
This film is about a schoolgirl whose brother is killed by the son of, I assume, a Japanese Yakuza boss.
Yeah, he was a Japanese Yakuza, but there was also a sub-thing about how their parents were basically murderers or something. Or they're basically, it's one of those, you never see their parents, but their parents are referred to as murderers, so basically nobody likes them, even though the kids haven't done anything.
Yeah.
And like, if I remember correctly, she's acting like normal, and when she finds out her brother's being bullied, she tries to do the reasonable thing and go to like the family who are cops. Well, one of the families who are cops, but like they're all unstable and are just doing like horrifically over the top things to try and like kill her or something. I think there was that whole scene where was it that whole scene where she just goes to ask them like to stop their kid bullying, and they like burn her hand in tempura.
Yeah, yeah.
And she has to throw boiling oil on them because they're trying to attack her. And he comes at, I think the one scene I remember.
Point, the dad, I think he has golf clubs, and he.
Oh, that was the scene I was just about to talk about, where he just goes blah with a golf club.
Because of course, every Japanese citizen knows kendo.
Yeah, but it's how she gets it. She stops him when he comes out with the golf clubs to attack her. Again, she's not attacked them or anything. She's just asking them to come with her to the police or something. And they're going nuts. And she just throws like boiling oil at him.
Well, I think they were just so scared of the Yakuza boss that they'd rather kill her than.
I think they were actually in on it with the Yakuza boss because their kids were friends. And then she starts and then they actually go so far as to murder her brother. And that's when things get really fucked up. Go on, Ollie. I'll leave the rest to you.
Right. So she goes on a vengeful crusade to avenge her.
Tell them about the blood shampoo.
Oh, the blood shampoo. Oh God!
Go on, please. I'm begging you.
Right. So, one of the kids' parents
The ones we just mentioned, who she threw boiling oil on, who tried to turn her hand into tempura, I believe.
Right, so she's just decapitated their son at this point, right? She gets caught eventually by the Yakuza boss.
Oh, you're skipping over the bit. You're skipping over the bits with the blood shampoo and conditioning.
Oh right. So the parent it's the mother, isn't it, or is it the dad? I can't
Well, the mother
remember.
gets decapitated as well, but it's when the dad's in the bath, I think.
Yeah. Right. Oh yeah, I know that. So the dad's in the bath, right, and she has a fight with his kid. And he cuts her head off, and then she kicks open the door to him in the back and says, "Wash your hair in your son's blood," and then squirts blood all over him.
I should probably point out, Ollie, that there's the torso, like, she's not holding the blood in. The torso is just there with a stump, and as soon as she says it, it then squirts out like a fountain all over him while he's pain. Yeah, it just turns on command. I think that's the part that makes it funny. Oh god. Go on. Don't that the funny thing. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the blood shampoo and then just get
one of many moments that this.
That's before she becomes the machine girl, though. That's the thing.
Yes. You know, when the Yakuza boss and demands that he drink his blood at one point. Like, he actually cuts his arm over him and has him drink the blood that trickles out, which is bizarre. But she gets caught by him and has her arm cut off. And then she goes to a mechanic that was nice to her, and he grabs
I think the mechanic. Well, the mechanic was actually. I think what happened was the mechanic didn't like it to begin with because, again, the parents' reputation. But also, her son was also friends with her brother, and they both got killed by the Yakuza boss's son. So she built her the robotic arm. Her husband built her the robotic arm.
Well, it's not a robotic arm. He just replaced her right arm, I think. Was it the right arm?
But what about the mourning parents? Remember when they send I think they send ninjas, like actual kid ninjas, to try and kill her.
Yeah.
And then when they're killed,
no, that's not what happens. That's it's a squadron of mourning parents when some of the kids are already dead.
No. The mourning parents are because they send the ninjas, and the ninjas get killed, and they put the bodies in body bags, and then the Yakuza go over, and then they recruit the mourning parents and turn them into a Super Sentai group.
Yeah. This is not even the most bizarre thing that happens in this
It's
film.
gruesome, I should point that out.
The mechanic replaces her missing arm with a...
It is.
Yeah.
But
So
it just
she just sort of goes on a rampage of revenge with this Gatling gun arm and whatever else other weapons she can get her hands on.
Including a
And it's just
chainsaw leg at one
really
point, because doesn't the
over-
mechanic get a leg cut off, and then end up using it, like getting a chainsaw put on it?
It will fix that for you.
Oh yeah. But then onto the mourning parents, like it's sort of a Super Sentai group of...
I apologise for that.
I'm always.
Sorry, she's going through a tantrum phase at this point.
It's alright. Yeah, the squadron of mourning parents, and then she goes to sort of like the pre-final boss, which is the Yakuza's wife, and her signature weapon is the drill bra.
I'm just going to leave that. I'm just going to leave you to leave everyone to just try and understand that.
I'll give you a moment to absorb that. Which is exactly what it sounds like. And the way that this drill bra is defeated, because it's mechanical, someone pissed themselves in fear earlier, and she falls.
And then she gets decapitated because that wasn't enough.
Yeah, and then she gets decapitated. But yeah, the machine girl.
just
quite a fun, it's ridiculous movie.
it really is. I will say, however, that there was a sequel, but a really short one afterwards.
He called dibs on hunting hundreds of vaults.
That was set with one of her friends who got killed, or we believe she was killed, but of course she wasn't.
Gotta rebuild. Get a new shield for Sanctuary. Wipe Hyperion off the
Yeah, ridiculous.
Jack may be dead, but we're not done.
I know it's silly, but yeah, the machine girl was just wow. Okay, my one is actually, I'm going to cheat a little here.
Okay.
This one is a anime series that's so bad it's good. Tenchi Muyo.
Oh, no. That was bad.
Hear me out. Tenchi Muyo survives purely because of its female characters. The narrative itself, the story of Tenchi Muyo, as it's presented in the anime, it's shit. Okay, Tenchi is very bland in terms of an actual person.
Oh, he's not.
Thing.
Hey, I got a perfectly...
Well, that's kind of the whole point, because the title translates to useless Tenchi.
It's no need for Tenchi or useless Tenchi, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is intentional.
Indeed. However, I would argue that yeah, it's good because the female characters, the side characters, are literally the only thing keeping it going.
Like Ryoko.
Speaking of, Ryoko's original voice actress actually returned to play the part.
Really?
For season 4 of Tenchi Muyo in Japan, I saw the English dub, well, a part of an English dub, whereupon she reprised her role. She was trying to force-feed Tenchi some really horrible thing she'd made. And it was just a relief to hear that voice. Basically, I think what had happened was the voice actress came back, and what I remember is that, well, she was trying to force-feed Tenchi something really, really, really horrible. And then having a go at him for not eating her food. Telling them that her heart and soul went into making this. You know, the usual crazy stuff.
But Ayaka does serve as a good foil for Ryoko.
Oh yeah, I mean, I will say this as well. I will count the movies in there as well, because the second movie probably does the best. Even if it is set in the Tenchi universe, it is actually called Tenchi Muyo. But I still maintain that, again, the second movie, Daughter of Darkness, is by far the better one, because it does explore a bit more of, it shows one of the rare times you'll actually see Ryoko and Ayaka talking seriously, and it not be over them, like, passive-aggressively attacking each other.
Yeah.
Which in itself is, which in itself is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
I remember a story arc where it's like Washu goes into that, like she invents this machine that creates different worlds.
That was Universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Universe was the spin-off. I remember that one where everyone ended up in their own personal world, and they had a scene that was so ridiculous that I don't think they actually showed it on television. Like, if it's the one I think you're about to mention, would it happen to be the one where they're at high school?
Yeah, that's Sasami's
world.
world.
Oh God, go on, you do it. Oh.
All right, well, it's basically Sasami's world. It's like a Sailor Moon-esque world, where she's like the magical girl.
Yeah.
And
So, you
and
want to
Tenchi,
hear another
Ryoko,
story,
and Ayaka
One where
are
the very
high
fate
school
of Pandora
students.
hangs in the balance.
And basically, Ryoko and Ayaka are these two girls that love the popular guy, Tenchi, and they fight over him. And Sasami comes along and she casts a love spell, but on Ayaka and Ryoko, and they fall in love with each other.
Yeah, I do remember, and I think Kione and Mahoshi were like teachers, and they were trying to like stop them from like
Yeah.
being doing what they were doing, telling them that this was going too far.
Yeah, I like Mihoshi's world.
Mahoshi's world where she's married to Tenchi and everyone's trying to steal her husband, and Ayaka's like her sister-in-law who won't move out.
Yeah, and but the best is Ryoko, of course. She plays
when they become Bonnie and Clyde.
Well, I was still talking about Mihoshi's world.
Oh God, yes, that.
Yes. Ryoko is like the neighbour, and she just barges in the house asking for a cup of sugar, but really she was just there to try and steal Tenchi. that gets a laugh every time.
Yeah.
No, lordy.
I just love it for how ridiculous it is.
Oh God, yeah, I actually remember it now. I remember it very well now.
Hey, I'm the neighbour. I would like to borrow some sugar. Oh, Tenchi! I remember it's like a friend of mine from school, and we would watch the Japanese version together, and we'd do all the voices.
Once upon a time,
And he was Ayaka.
Play the game.
Oh yeah, I remember there was one where Kione's one was the one I felt actually the most sympathy for.
Unless we make a stand here
Where she's
and
just
now.
she's basically trying to live a new life away from Mahoshi, so she's like gone ridiculous and found a new place, and she's finally settled and everything. She's finally found a place she can live, and it's all perfect for her, even with the little quirks. And just as she's about to settle, Mahoshi finds her.
Welcome, fine
Yeah.
And, Mahoshi just never gets it through her head that Kione just does not want to be anywhere near her, which is why she left in the first place.
It's so funny because Ryoko plays a drunk.
Tina?
Well,
She's right.
yeah, there's that. I will also say that the second OVA series, where they changed the voice actor for Ryoko, was still funny in its parts, especially with drunk Ryoko, now that you mention it.
My siren's name is Brink.
Just because of the whole... They send this elite police squad, which are basically Mahoshi's brothers' soldiers, and they all get taken down ridiculously easy. The psychic guy gets taken down with a plastic hammer and Washu, though we don't know the context of how she beat them. The guy with the two robotic wolves gets beaten by Ryoki. They never truly explain that either. So all it needs to do is meow, and suddenly they back away, which I thought was funny. And then, of course, you've got... Well, Ryoko beats that guy and gives him post-traumatic stress disorder, and then starts destroying what is basically the Death Star. Let's call it what it fucking is.
Yeah.
And she's destroying it while drunk. And by this point, even to the point where they've had this entire plot point where Mahoshi's brothers fall in love with one of his subordinates, and had that entire thing where they're drinking very, very, very rare wine, and Ryoko is still destroying this so-called indestructible battleship. This really powerful battleship that, again, she's destroying with no problem whatsoever.